Welcome back to Socially Served. And Trish, I'd like to welcome you to our remote show. It's a pleasure having you. We've also corresponded quite a bit during the pandemic, and I just want to talk to you a little bit about your business and what you actually provide in terms of services for some of our viewers. So maybe we can talk a little bit about changing paces. And it's an appropriate kind of name because we've been changing and evolving with this whole pandemic, and it's been really challenging, and especially for employment, for employers, making employment accessible. And you're kind of a great advocate for accessibility. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about your services, and maybe you can tell us about that.
Sure. Well, first of all, pleasure to be here, Frank. I thank you so much for inviting me to be on this show. I always capture and embrace any opportunity to spread the word about advocacy and for advocating for the needs of people with disabilities. In terms of my services, actually, they're quite broad. First of all, I work with people with disabilities. Mostly, I work with entrepreneurs with disabilities. I help them to build a stable income that they can rely on and keeps them afloat when their health is rocking the boat. But I also work with businesses, helping them to actually boost profitability. Studies have shown by up to 30%. Can you believe that number? It's amazing, actually. I have take great pleasure in teaching entrepreneurs and business owners how to make their businesses accessible to that 20 to 25% of our population who has a disability. It's quite a large number, actually. In fact, I like to tell business owners that if you're not serving people with disabilities, you may as well stand at the door, assuming we were in face-to-face business again. But you may as well stand at the door of your establishment and turn every fifth or fourth customer away, because that's who you're shutting out.
Yeah, a lot of businesses don't realize that there is a huge amount of revenue that is out there for individuals with disabilities. And as you know, as even our population, as it grows older, as we grow older, we're going to encompass different types of disability barriers that we will come up with ourselves. And then you're looking at individuals who, are caregivers or are people who've acquired a disability. All of a sudden, their life changes. And so this is individuals with spending power. And so it's very important for businesses to become very accessible. And I know it's interesting, you've also created an accessible customer service program. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I have actually. It started in 2007 because the first deadline under the AODA, the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act, the for those that don't know, the disability legislation in Ontario, January 1st, 2008 was the first deadline. And the first compliance requirement was for organizations, public sector organizations, to train their staff on providing customer service to people with disabilities. So that was the deadline that I developed my training for.
No, and that's really important because that was the first initiative, I guess, with the province, with AODA, which is important because how do we serve individuals with disabilities? And you're talking about situations where you may not have a ramp that goes and enters into your shop. Or what about persons with seeing eye dogs? What is your policy on those types of things? So it's a whole different way of looking, a dynamic of looking how to serve persons with disabilities. And again, getting them into your shop. That's really important. And there's a lot of important work that you're doing and groundbreaking in that. And I know that you're also busy with website accessibility. And
I am.
So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I took on a team member, an amazing lady, about a year ago, and she actually I scooped her up from the city of Ottawa. She is an amazing website accessibility expert, and I also have a tool that I haven't really released yet. That I'm going to leave for a little bit of intrigue for you.
Okay.
Um, the final and the third piece that I want to share with you is that with your viewers is that I have a huge passion for the accessibility of the travel experience. Okay. And I actually watched a previous show of yours where you interviewed somebody on that same topic. I think it was in 2018.
Oh, you have a good memory.
Yeah, well, I just watched it this morning. So there we go.
Those are
Yeah.
old shows.
Yeah. But yeah,
But thank you.
I was grateful to be involved with Sunwing Airlines in 2019, and
Mhm.
I helped them to develop an accessible customer service training program for their staff on how to provide accessible customer service to travelers with a disability. And that was really widely received across at Sunwing. Also have a background training program that I developed, delivering that municipalities across the province. But I also trained staff at Toronto Pearson Airport. And a result of my involvement in several airport projects, I have now been recruited by the Airport Council International. I am now in the process of beginning a project to develop a training program for airports across the globe on
Wow,
how to provide services to travelers with disabilities.
that is
Really
excellent.
proud of that. Yeah.
Congratulations. That's a
Yeah.
real big milestone. And
Yeah.
as the nation type kind of opens up, things start to evolve, opening, people are starting to travel. This is much needed because
Yes.
again, right? It's again
Yeah.
people, individuals that have challenges that often you just even not only inside the aircraft, also with navigating through the airport itself and
Exactly.
understanding that.
Yeah, exactly. The Sunwing. I helped to teach Sunwing airline staff on how to do airport as well as airline in the air accommodations. But this current project is specifically for airports across the globe, and that's like any any airport. Yeah, that will have access to this training. And I'm really excited about that because as travel opens up again, as commerce opens up again, I want businesses to know that people with disabilities are the largest minority consumer on the planet. Okay? Because of baby boomers, we are going to be a larger and larger
Yep,
population because right now the eldest of the baby boomers are just starting to experience disability, and the youngest of the baby boomers over the next 20 years are going to acquire disability. So it stands to reason, and baby boomers are the sector of our population, global population, that has the most expendable income.
that's right.
So it stands to reason that when travel opens up, people with disabilities will be a larger than expected section, a piece of that business.
So did the airline industry come to you about like sort of forming like an advisory committee, or like knowing that when things do open up globally, that there's going to be this huge need, and how do you accommodate that need, and those challenges that come with it? Is that kind of sort of what happened?
There's definitely some rationale there, definitely some motivation there. And it's also because, during the pandemic, a lot of companies, smart companies, have taken the time to invest in their infrastructure.
Right.
You know, the companies that have taken the time to do that, they are going to hit the ground running when borders open again, when commerce is back to 100%. It's going to be those organizations, municipalities, governments, businesses, small businesses, entrepreneurs, right from top to bottom. For those of us who have invested in education, training, um, uh, refurbishing of, redevelopment,
Retrofitting. Yeah.
regrowing, exactly.
Mhm.
All of those activities, they will be the saviors, and they'll be the ones. They'll be the
Well,
activities that will have saved businesses.
yeah. Well, they're the ones who'll be aligned and ready to deal with this new type of environment that we're dealing with,
Precisely,
right?
precisely,
And it is business,
and if
right?
they're accessible, all the
Yep.
better.
Excellent. So you know what? We're going to take a little bit of a commercial break, and we come back. We're going to talk a little bit more with Trish. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this message.